Hello, everyone. We'll start in just a moment as a few more people arrive. But just wanted to welcome you to today's webinar and hope that you are healthy and happy. So we'll start in probably another, I'd say 5 minutes. We'll give people 5 minutes. All right, this is great. I see people just joining us. And like I said, we'll start in a few minutes, not much longer now. If you guys want to, there's like a little chat box. If you want to tell where you're from or anything like that, that's always interesting to know. So type me a little note if you want. All right, Ohio, Illinois, goodness. Maryland, awesome. I gotta expand my toolbar so I can see. West Virginia, Greencastle, Indiana, awesome. I hope you all are trying to make the best of the new normal, which is anything but normal. Antwerp, love Antwerp, Belgium. Hello, Michelle. Miss it so much. I hate not being able to travel, but hey, I think it could be worse. All right. We've got a couple of minutes here by one of my clocks. One of mine is 3 minutes fast, so. And if you guys hear my glass clinking, I have to drink water because it's suddenly very warm here. So we have excellent weather. Okay, we got a lot of people joining. This is great. Glad to see you all. If you have trouble with the audio, you may want to dial in. It seems to work better via phone than it does via the computer, but sort of half and half. All right, we've got quite a few people on here. This is exciting. I'm glad that you guys took time out of your day to join me. Almost time, almost time. And I'm trying to read through the chat and the questions box, so just in case you guys are wondering why I'm delayed, I'm trying to read through it. And my toolbar is not cooperating, so. Oh, now I can see it, okay. Yes, if you can get out and enjoy the weather. I've been walking my dogs a lot. And I had my kids remove them so that when I'm giving you this webinar, they don't bark. So that's a big plus. I'm actually in Bardstown, Kentucky at my home. It's close to Louisville, Kentucky, where our plant is for Chromolux and Unisub. So it's a beautiful day here, but lots of pollen, as I'm sure that a lot of people are dealing with now. So that's always fun. All right. I think we're just going to go ahead and get this kicked off. So again, hello, I'm Peggy Waters, and I'm your hostess for today's Mother's and Father's Day webinar. And I'm actually doing this from my home, which a lot of you hopefully are safe at home. If not, I hope you're safe at work. And I just wanted to thank you guys for your time today. I know you had some things you're probably doing at home with children or, working, and hopefully that this is a good distraction somewhat for you from our new normal. But really appreciate you tuning in today. And again, I'm happy to present this to you. It's just me this time. Sarah's probably going to join me the next time we do another webinar, but she's doing some other projects right now, so I'm just going ahead and doing this myself. So sorry if it's solo, but I'll do the best I can. Also, I will let you know that I'm going to read through your questions at the end. So if you have a question, that's fine. If you want to type it in, I'm going to do my best to go through all the questions at the end. And then if there's something I can't answer, I will let you know. I'll get your information when you signed up for the webinar, and I will get back to you and give you the answer. So, especially since I'm not in the plant at the moment, it's kind of, I usually have to reach out to my experts and ask them if I don't know the answer. So, and again, if you're having any audio issues, try to use your phone instead of your computer speakers and your mic. So, let's get started. So let's talk about the agenda for this webinar. So the first thing we want to go over, and I know this is very US-based and we have international folks that are listening, but I thought it was some fun facts to talk about the history behind Mother's and Father's Day in the US and just kind of show you where it came from. And there were some surprising facts that I found that I thought were kind of fun. But then I'm going to show you the top sublimation gifts for hard surface sublimation. And it doesn't mean you can't use designs or anything and can't sublimate other products. You, of course, can. We just had to pick some of our products for ideas that you might want to use. And then we're going to also go over some free resources for you. So some graphics, some templates that you can have, any kind of patterns and backgrounds, and, of course, where we got our fonts to use. A lot of people are like, what font is that? And there's several ways you can actually take pictures of stuff and try to upload it and figure out what font it is, but we just thought we would give you the fonts list. And we're going to show you some retail pricing suggestions and just offer some general tips for selling your products, which right now definitely means online, as you all are probably very aware, and then offer some product photography tips that you can use to make the most of your selling online. I thought I would throw that in there because, a lot of people are like, I don't do that now, or maybe I am doing that now, I just need a little help with it. So just some tips and tricks to kind of help educate you on that, because I had to get educated on that as well. So all about Mother's Day. So what do we know about Mother's Day? Well, it started in the U.S. by a woman named Anna Jarvis. And her mother was Ann Jarvis. You wonder where she got the name. And she helped poverty-stricken mothers in the state of West Virginia. So we do have somebody from West Virginia, so hello. She had a special day in 1908, and it actually didn't become an official holiday until 1914. That's kind of a little bit away, but then Woodrow Wilson said, okay, well, we're going to have the second Sunday in May. And it said that once it started becoming really commercialized, Miss Jarvis wasn't exactly happy with that. She wanted to be more of an appreciation and loving, handmade card type of day. But nevertheless, it's still celebrated today. So as an American mom, I just want to say thank you, Anna. I'm very appreciative of my kids and what the love that they show to me, not just on Mother's Day, but always. So a study was done by the website salary.com. So this is a website where they have aggregate data, and they look at the average number of hours per week spent mothering. So if a mom were to stay at home in the U.S. and perform her duties 96 hours a week, it said 96 hours a week is the average. So the site calculated that now she's about worth $162,581 per year. That's quite a lot. So wow, I'll take that. And yes, it is hard, but fulfilling work. But I thought that was very funny that they came up with that information, and I thought that was just a cute little tidbit. Now, the National Retail Federation also in 2019, so this is the most recent data that I could find on this, they predicted that the annual spending for in the U.S. on Mother's Day would reach about $25 billion US. It's a lot of money. Now, obviously, I know these stats are going to be a little bit different for this year, but it gives us a glimpse into a very popular gift-giving holiday, and let's automate Mom's smile. There she goes. All right, so some typical gifts here. I'm sure everyone is familiar with these: flowers, cards, perfume, jewelry, candy, and of course meals. So if you want to take Mom out or provide her a meal. And then we're also seeing increasing numbers from the National Retail Federation that people are also doing things like massages and subscription boxes. So I don't know if you guys have heard of like FabFitFun or Ipsy or any of the companies where they have like a subscription base. It's kind of interesting because they're getting those through the mail. So that's another thing to think about. And they also give other experience-related items. So I'm an experience-driven and handmade kind of person, but I also like, you know, any kind of item that I can look at for years to come and remember that my kids gave it to me. So just think about some things like that. But sublimation gifts for Mom that we actually picked out, we have quite a few. We picked 5 because we had to narrow it down somewhat. So hard surface sublimated gifts. So we've got a garden stake here, and it's over on the right. And you can actually put that in a bouquet of flowers. You can put it inside like a house plant or a flower. If you give someone a potted flower, give your mom that. She can then take that out and replant it if you want. So that's kind of neat, and it will go outdoors. We also have our new hardboard 4847 banner. It comes with an actual ribbon, like a gloss grain ribbon that's with it. And you can actually go get little clips like we have on there. We get those from like any craft store, and you can just clip a picture onto that if you wanted to. I've seen people use these with wreaths on their front door, even though it's hardboard and it's not kind of meant to handle all the moisture from that. You could use that indoors as well. So if you're going to put it outside, I see people that have like their door and then there's like a storm door on front of it. You can put it on the inside part of the door. So these are just some ideas. We have a picture frame there, best mom ever. So every mom wants to hear that. And then a heart ornament, as well as a keychain. So with the ornament, a lot of people are like, well, you know, it's not really Christmas. That's right, but it is a reminder of your children, and maybe that's something you would want to have on your tree. All right. So taking a look around, and here's how we do this. We look at Etsy and other retailer websites that are out there, and we find the range that we see our product selling for, or products very similar to it if we can't find anything that's, you know, exactly our product. So these are approximate ranges that you can charge for your decorated items, and this just means like what you would charge the consumer that buys the finished product. So a picture frame anywhere from $20 to $29, so that could be $29.99 if you wanted to make it more retail friendly. So we've got all the information here, especially for like any of the smaller items that sometimes have a pretty big range. It just depends on what people are putting on those. So obviously, if it's like not really personalized, maybe it would sell for a little less. But if you put someone's photo on it or personalize it, you could probably get a little bit more out of that. All right, so let's see. Next slide. Come on. I love when this doesn't cooperate. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dads. All right, so let's move on to Father's Day. And this one also has a very interesting history. Sorry, it's in the U.S., but I still thought it was neat. So Sonora Smart Dodd, she was raised by a Civil War veteran, which is her father, William Smart. And Mr. Smart actually cared for 6 kids after his wife died in childbirth, which was pretty common back then. So, of course, wanting to honor her dad, Miss Dodd went to the local YMCA in Spokane, Washington. And with the help of the Ministerial Alliance there, she created the first, or celebrated the first Father's Day in 1910. So that's been a little while ago, too. But this one got even more interesting. So the holiday didn't actually get national recognition until 1924, when Calvin Coolidge, who was then president, recognized Father's Day and encouraged all of the states to do the same. You would think, okay, then that's when it started. Well, no. 1966, it actually, come on now. There we go. President Lyndon Johnson. He's the one that actually signed an official proclamation calling for the third Sunday in June to be recognized as Father's Day. But then it wasn't until 1972, I mean, I was really surprised by that Nixon actually signed an additional proclamation that permanently observed it as the third Sunday of June. So, you know, Dad, let's be thankful for Miss Dodd and her father on these particular facts here. But I just was really surprised that it was that late in our history that it is actually an official holiday in the U.S. And I'm hoping that you guys didn't already know that, but if you did, I think it's just weird. But anyway, so we saw earlier that the salary estimate from salary.com for moms was pretty darn high. So, well, of course they estimated things for dads. And when you know it, that they say that dads only spend about 60 hours a week. We all know this is not exactly a truthful statement, performing their dad duties. And so based on that, stay-at-home dads are estimated to be worth about $71,463 a year. Oh my goodness. But hey, if Mr. Smart were on here, I would argue that he probably earned every bit of that $162,581 that the moms earn. So I don't know about that one. Now the NRF, the National Retail Federation in the United States, estimated again in 2019 about $16 billion were spent in the U.S. on Father's Day gifts. So Dad's and also just wanted to point out, both holidays are one of the ones where people call their parents the most, which is kind of interesting. But I just thought you should still call your parents. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but for Father's Day, my dad was always really, really hard to buy for. But common gifts that we see in the market, and of course, that are also on the National Retail Federation, and here I am trying to use one computer to control another, which is hilarious. But common gifts are things, again, like greeting cards, special outings, maybe sporting goods, clothing. I know you guys, maybe some people have gotten the traditional tie every year, or some tools, personal care, so like a shade set or something like that guys would enjoy. But they also trend toward unique experiences or products. So maybe if you're giving Dad a trip to a NASCAR racing experience, or maybe it's a golf outing. So, and they also are into subscription boxes as well. So I don't know, I'm sure that in other countries they have subscriptions you can have where you get free or small, I guess you would call it sample size gifts. Not really free. It's usually a small amount every month that you pay, but these are pretty nice for dads too. So, all right. Come on, my mouth. Sorry. All right. So some sublimation gifts for dad. All right. So here are some items we selected for dad. So the first one we have is the garage bar sign, and it's pretty neat because you can actually hang it outside if you want to, or inside. So this is on our EXP material. It's a Unisub product though. So it's a building sign, and it has two little holes in it. You can go outdoors. There's also a round magnet, and I know it kind of looks weird, but it's angled, so it's not complete. It doesn't look completely round on this slide, but I swear to you it is. And we have these 6x6 textured photo panels. These are pretty neat. They don't have like the clear glossy finish or the white glossy finish like our regular panels do. These actually have a little texture to them. They're really, really cool. So if you haven't seen that, we do have those, and your distributor probably has those too, or we can ship them directly to them. So these are pretty neat, and I think it's just a little different product. Now we also have a keychain, and we put this on our maple product, or our natural wood. It has a maple look to it, and these are really nice too, because sometimes dads don't want anything really huge, and this is just a nice little, you could actually put their name on the other side if you wanted to, if the substrate allowed for that. Sometimes the maple has knots in it, so you just can really only sublimate one side, but sometimes you can do both. And we also have a door hanger. So for dads who would really, really, really like to keep kids out when they're trying to relax or whatnot, you can put that on the door for dad. And funny thing is, when we were looking at this, our designer said, well, what should we put on the other side? And I was like, just keep the same message on both sides. So no matter what it is, you can turn it around. It'll still have the same leave daddy alone message. So we also took a look at, okay, what do we see these items selling for in the market? So again, the personalization level really affects that. So if you're going to put anything that's like a photo or something like that, you can maybe charge a little bit more, or if it's something really clever or cute that you see around that would be a really good message for dads, including like maybe local sports teams or something like that. That might be another way to personalize it. Bar signs are always a really good hit, so something they can remember. All right, so as far as free items for support for both markets, we have an asset library that we have available on unisub.com. And so when you go to unisub.com, you'll see where it has support at the top, and then you actually can go to the asset library from that link. And what it does is it gives you all of the different templates. It gives you all the product shots if you want to be able to customize those, and it's really easy to use. We even have sublimate.com is another one that we use for people who are really struggling or not exactly sure how long to press that item. We do have that. So there's a lot of different things on that asset library you can get to, and it's easy to get to. Let's see here. All right. So now let's get into selling. So right now it's a little bit of a strange time, and there are restrictions and challenges that we overcome. So just for an example, I'm trying my best to sew handmade masks, and I have not found elastic anywhere. So I've had to resort to getting some, different things, different types of shipment, even ribbon, things like that. So I understand that right now it's a little challenging, but while nobody is sure of what to expect next, I think that positivity and community like us here now is very important. So right now it's really a time to learn, reflect, and plan. And even if we don't know what will happen in a month or 3 months or 6 months, hey, people do crave normalcy. And there's still, I feel like, going to be selling items online, going to be wanting items online. I know it's been tough because not everybody can do that. But I do think that online sales have surged. And I know it can seem hard sometimes to celebrate, but this is a pivotal moment for us. So for your business, if you have a home-based shop where you can produce items to sell, online is just the place to be. So from an e-com site to offering things on a social level, I think that's very important. Online site options that I have listed here, basically Etsy. Shopify is simply a means to how you would set up a site. Squarespace, Wix, and BigCommerce are also some of the common ones I've seen people use as like the engine to get their website up and get an e-commerce site up. But social media to me is huge. People are tuning in on social media. Every day I watch our governor at 5 p.m. on social media. So it's kind of interesting to see how much traffic now is completely online, as if it wasn't really before. But the quality of the photos and things that you're trying to sell online is super, super, super important. So let's just take a look at some of these options here. And I do have an example to give you, by the way, of something that I've seen locally, just in case this helps you. So there's a shop downtown, and they have a lot of personalized items as well as just home decor. And they had a simple website. Basically, their website just showed a few pictures, and it had like their Facebook page, and then they had a few things they put on there. But after this all happened, they started offering local pickup. Now, obviously, that may not be an option for you because of social distancing. But they do also have, and they have worked on an e-commerce site, and it launched last week, and it's starting to work. They actually just ship the gift even if they are local. So it's kind of, doing what you can I know, you know, every business is different, but I figured that that would be something as an example that you could see that. But one thing you shouldn't do on social media is go completely dark. So don't be, you know, inactive, and do consider soft selling and letting people know what to expect. Like, for example, if you are going to be, you know, shipping something and you know there's a delay, sometimes we don't, but if you say, hey, it could be several days before you get it, or hey, I package all my products and wipe them down with disinfectant before I send it to you. That's just something that you can think about. You know, and let social media support what you're doing online, and always be positive as much as you possibly can. All right, so many of us who shop online regularly, like me, I'm a primaholic, did so before, you know, these times went. So step back and think about, okay, if I'm going to build a site or if I'm going to show products, what do I want them to look like? So think about why you buy things from who you buy them from. So what does it look like? So if you're offering any kind of product, you know, show off your best work and make sure that you're getting enough of the product or showing enough of the product. Like if you want to show somebody the back side of a photo panel, or if you want to show the edge of a coaster, something like that. How will people use it? Now, obviously, people are going to know how to use your product if you say it's a coaster, but give them a little bit of a visual. We kind of did that with this photo here. We took that in a local coffee shop probably last year, but it's one of my favorites because I really miss getting coffee from that place. So I had a little bit of nostalgia and put it up. And you also want what do you want them to know? So if there's some sort of feature that you're offering or something that you're putting there with the artwork, or can they trade out, you know, what size photo in that frame? You know, things like that. If there's something you want people to know that they can do, definitely include that or show a photo of it. All right. Oh, there we go. My clicker is not working good. Photography how-to. And trust me, people make fun of my photography. It's pretty bad. I've gotten a lot better. But there's plenty of inexpensive and entry-level cameras that you can actually use. And you can even use your phone. So photographing products might seem like a very, very intimidating task. It was for me. But I swear to you, it's going to get better, and it's not going to get as expensive as you think, because some people do have, you know, the nice Nikon or Canon, or they have a brand new camera and they take all their photos. But let me tell you, you can actually do it with your phone, and there are some other options out there. So I'm giving you on this slide just some ideas to use for, if you're going to use like a small DSLR camera. You could maybe buy, you know, a mid-range one, or actually an inexpensive one for $300 to $500 bucks. Goodness, look at something used if you can, but still in good condition. And then there's a couple options you want to look for that. So a macro and then a wide-angle lens. The macro if you can get close up, wide angle if you want to shoot something further back. iPhones or other smartphones, they do have HDR or any kind of high-quality settings. You want to make sure if you're using your phone that you set that so that it is on that high quality setting. And if you have a grid you could use with that as well, you can use that. Look at it in portrait mode. And you can even color edit on your phone if you have an app. There's apps for everything out there. And then you might want to think about where the product is. You know, how do you want to shoot it? You want to shoot it from the bottom? You want to elevate it some, you want to put it on a shelf, you want to put it on a mantle, just things like that you might want to consider. And there are cheap lenses you can actually go for your phone. I thought this was cool. There's little things that you can buy off of Amazon or other places. And I know Amazon right now in the U.S. is on essential shipping priority, which is great. But it really doesn't take that long. I have ordered a few things from there and gotten them within, say, 5 days, something like that. That's not terribly bad. So that's just something to think of when you're starting to photograph. And this picture that I have on this slide is actually someone using some like a lighting source here. We'll go over that in just a moment, but I thought that was, you know, she's obviously got a very expensive camera. I really have seen where you don't exactly need that. But here's some tips also so you can know what we recommend. All right, so if you can, try to use some natural light. So sunlight, if it's not glaring, obviously, especially when it's beautiful outside. A white sheet or any kind of light curtain, something like that, could diffuse that light, so make it not so glaring. And I'm lucky that I have someone that I work with who's a great photographer. She gives me a lot of these tips when I'm trying to do this, and a lot of these are from her and that we've used before at work together. You can also use white poster board or copy paper for a seamless background. I don't know how many of you have seen those types of backgrounds when you're online and seeing someone's product. Those are great because you can't really, it looks just perfect. Invest in some sort of a backdrop. I do have resources at the end. If you're going to continue to do this, definitely I think it's a great investment for you to try to look at different types of backdrops. So maybe one that looks like marble or one that looks like barnwood or something like that is sort of what we're talking about here. And then again, I had this on the other slide, but I think it's kind of neat and overlooked. Elevate the product. Sometimes people shoot things from top down, but if you want to elevate it just a little bit and get up to the finer details, I think that's actually a neat little shot to have. And then don't overwhelm the picture with a lot of different items. I see people putting props out there that just almost take away from the product. You don't want to do that. You kind of want to limit it a little bit. And then get some complementary props. Our designer told me, odd numbers actually work great. So if you want to have 3 props or even just 1 prop. And that's something just to think about with photography and trying to keep it simple. All right, next slide. There we go. So some general photography tips. So there are different types of shots. So some are more studio shots. We've got like a white background like we talked about before, where it's seamless and it has plenty of light. You've got lifestyle shots, and this is where you're helping people envision exactly what they're going to be doing when they use your product. How are they going to look when they have your product, or how does their mantle look when they have your product? Detail shots would be like, what does the product include? Does it have an easel on the back? Does it have cork on the bottom? Things like that. You just want to make sure that you use angles for that and try to, it doesn't mean that you have to get molecularly close, but use some different angles to show people what it includes. And then group shots. So what else can people buy? Are you offering a keychain and maybe, something else with it? So just think about like a bag tag, a keychain, or if you're offering like a metal print and also a textured print, that might be something to think about as well. So group shots or anything that goes with your product. If you have a t-shirt that has the same design and you also want to offer a keychain or offer a bag tag or something like that, again, group shot those. See what else people can do. And then for studio shots, you want to make sure that you center the product and make sure it's not too close to the edges or cut off. Has anybody heard of the rule of thirds? This is kind of a neat little concept. So think of any photo and you kind of divide it into thirds. Now on the example I have on the right, I took an image and I have a grid, basically has 9 different squares, but where those little lines intersect, that's where the eyes go. So you kind of want to think about that when you get photos. And I know some people are like, why is this over to the right? Or my photo is too far over to the left. It looks strange. And actually, if you look at this rule of thirds, it works. It really does. So think about that rule of thirds. And if you want to Google that, I found a lot of interesting information on that. Just make sure that you position whatever you're photographing within those thirds. And then the goal, of course, is to create more visual interest, to make sure that you're, whatever you're doing, you're capturing it in the best light you possibly can, and you're showing off what you're able to sell for people who are going to be buying. Okay, so there we go. Now, I'm going to have this, this webinar up online so that you can have these resources, but there are different sites that I actually went to just to look at what people are saying and recommending on how that you would photograph your product. So Etsy has one, obviously Shopify. There was another person that has a blog, and I think they do a really good job of showing you how. There's a couple of those. A Better Lemonade Stand was another one that showed you how to get really good product shots. And replica surfaces down here is one that our designer uses here that we've used before. We're not affiliated with any of these, but she actually buys some of the backgrounds from replica surfaces, and they also have interesting Facebook posts. They actually have little contests and things where people show off their work. It's kind of neat. And it's not just for like professional, highly skilled photographers. Just trust me, I'm not that. But I think it's kind of neat to see what other people are doing. And trust me, more people are doing this than you think. So I think it's really a good thing to learn. All right, next slide, Clyde. Here we go. So online photography videos. These are also some really nice videos that we found on YouTube. And just looking around to see what people are offering. And right now, I guess is really a good time to learn if you possibly can. So there's some basic phone photography and product tips on the first one. There's some tricks for lighting on the second one. There's some creative things that you can add or do, and then product photography tips on the one that I put down at the bottom. So again, these people aren't affiliated with us, but we just found them very useful, and we thought you might too. So I just included a slide for you on that. And again, if you miss it, I'm going to upload this information to our markets page right after the webinar is completed. All right. So, oh my goodness, that's a lot of stuff we went over. And then I wanted to take a moment to answer some questions here as well. And I will mention to you, this webinar was actually supposed to have graduation or grads in it. I have a high school senior in my family, and we have no idea what's going on for grads, but we thought, you know, hey, we're just going to go ahead and do moms and dads, and we'll see what we can do for grads later if you guys are interested in that. I'm really hoping that we can get something good going for that particular subject as soon as we more or less know what we can do. So what questions do you guys have for me? I know I went over quite a bit of stuff, a lot of stuff. And I'm trying to get this silly thing to work so I can actually see what you're asking me again. So be patient with me. We are still open here. We are still making products and still shipping to distributors. So any of your distributors on our Where to Buy page would be able to help you with our product. Yes. Let's see here. I'm going to go through it. Also, I'm interested, guys, in knowing what other webinars or content would you like us to offer, because we're always open to suggestions, and we are also wanting to help you. And we're having fun doing this because, hey, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? We're going to have fun with this. And we'll even, we're going to be also having giveaways on our Facebook page. So if you're not on Unisub's Facebook page and want to do that, we usually have like a monthly giveaway. We're talking about doing that a little bit more often so that we can keep people engaged, keep people working. Oh, okay. Somebody actually asked me, how do you prevent people from copying what you have? So for example, if you have a design, you put it on your website. I've seen people put watermarks on stuff. So I don't know if that's an option for you. Like if you have the, it's usually pretty easy to do in something like Photoshop or Corel, but you can put a watermark on any of your photography shots. And that way, you know, you could do that. Now, obviously, you're not copywriting anything necessarily, but I would actually do that. I think that's a smart idea if you can. It's up to you. All right. Any other questions? Let me go down to this chat box here. Hold on. All right. Let's see. All right. Any other? And I'm trying to go through this, guys. Oh, by the way, if you do have additional questions, please email info@unisub.com, and that is answered by myself and Sarah, and we also have somebody in our Belgium office who answers those too. All right. Yes, that was an actual round magnet. It just didn't look like it. Sorry. All right. Anything else? If there's no further ado, and I keep looking to make sure I didn't miss anything. I hope you guys are well and safe and enjoying as much as you can the situation we're in. I hope that you keep positive, and I hope that you have a wonderful week, especially coming up on Easter for those of us that celebrate. And again, if you want to email me or anyone on our staff, info@unisub.com. Really appreciate it. Be sure to visit Start to Sublimate, and that's starttosublimate.com, by the way, for any of your pressing questions. And I will actually put this recording up on the website probably in a few minutes. So, all right. I can't see any more questions, so I'm going to assume there aren't any, and I'm sorry if I missed you. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you so, so much for joining me. And I hope you are blessed and continue to be healthy. Bye.